All right, Shalom. First, like step by send our praise to Yahweh by Shemel Shai by Shemel Kakadash. The honor to the elders and apostles that rule well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. As you can see, the title of this video is Lawmakers Discuss UFO Sightings and Reports During Congressional Hearing. And this was posted 3 weeks ago. I wanted to do it earlier, but you know how the spirit works. The Lord will have it get it done, when He put the spirit on you to get it done. But yeah, I'm going to play this clip and then add some precepts. Because as you can see, the U.S. government has come out, and then Trump said something about it also. But now they're coming out with all the information and saying that they got specific groups that they have to try to combat the cherriots. The UFOs are cherriots according to the Bible. They are identified amongst the elect and the elite, and guys that are of high rank know what these are here for. But the rest of the people really don't know. But we shouldn't have a God constantly trying to talk to America and speaking on this for long because the people are constantly laughing at us, calling us crazy, and this and that. But if we just stand up in this little prayer thing, without further ado.
We will now turn to the business of this hearing. More than 50 years ago, the U.S. government ended Project Blue Book, an effort to catalog and understand sightings of objects in the air that could not otherwise be explained. For more than 20 years, that project had treated unidentified anomalies in our airspace as a national security threat to be monitored and investigated. In 2017, we learned for the first time that the Department of Defense had quietly restarted a similar organization tracking what we now call unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs.
Now, the government is always lying. They always knew that they had these groups, and if they didn't know, it's the circle within the circle, man. The U.S. government really has been up on game. They just pronounced it to you people now, man. You can't trust your enemies, man. Jake and them that's down with the society, especially not Esau, man. So, and that's for you people that just now tuning in. That ain't actually out there doing the work or whatnot. You gotta be mindful of you have to be not ignorant in anything small or great. You have to pay attention to the movements and what these governments are saying and whatnot, and how not far, but how the time, because the time is ending, and they're not gonna tell you to the last minute, and it's gonna be too late for you. So how much time you think you got left to jump on board? And it's really of who of the elect and who not. So
Last year, Congress rewrote the charter for that organization, now called the Airborne Object Identification and Management Synchronization Group, or AIM-SOG for short. Today, we will bring that organization out of the shadows. This hearing and oversight work has a simple idea at its core. Unidentified aerial phenomena are a potential national security threat, and they need to be treated that way. For too long, the stigma associated with UAPs has gotten in the way of good intelligence analysis. Pilots avoided reporting or were laughed at when they did. DoD officials relegated the issue to the back room or swept it under the rug entirely, fearful of a skeptical national security community. Today, we know better. UAPs are unexplained, it's true, but they are real. They need to be investigated, and many threats they pose need to be mitigated. Under Secretary Moultrie, Mr. Bray, thank you for coming today. First,
And they won't be able to mitigate nothing. This is the curse that goeth forth over the world, man. Esau can't do nothing about these chariots popping up. As tough as they want to sound, as tough as they want to be. Because inside them so-called UFOs or UAPs are the angels, man. And the angels work for Yahweh Shema Shai, so-called Jesus Christ, and God, man. This is Zechariah chapter 5, verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. A flying roll just means a flying chariot, a flying so-called UFO. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I say a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. So this is breaking down UFO. Yes, the UFOs or the chariots are in the scriptures, man. That's how you know that you ain't really being taught by your church ministers what's really going on, man. And even if they do say, well, we didn't understand it, we didn't know that God didn't reveal it to us. You got the prophets out here that's revealing all the information now. Maybe you should leave about that motherfucking church and give your tithes and offering to a man of the Lord that's teaching the truth. At least you'll be rewarded for it spiritually, and physically. Shoot, the Lord deal and help out his, especially in the times that we're living in now. Zechariah chapter 5, verse 3. Then said he unto me, This is a curse unto this world, man, that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. Because the chariots, when they come back with Yahweh Shai, they coming back for destruction, to take over this world and give it to Yahweh Shai and the heirs, his heirs, which are the Israelites, man, starting with the elect, man. Because the world was made for the Israelites' sake. It says, For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off Esau, as on this side according to it, and everyone that swerves shall be cut off as on that side according to it. Rape, rob, and murder. Esau got America about rape, rob, and murder. And he swore on the Bible to uphold the scriptures, but never did, man. Cast the word, like the scriptures say, cast the words right behind thee. Hold on, let me get it. This is Psalm chapter 50. Is it 50 or is it 51 16? Okay, this is Psalms 50 and 16. But unto the wicked the Most High said, What hast thou to do to declare my statutes? Or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth. Talking about you Edomites, man. They are the wicked according to the Bible. They ain't supposed to be teaching nothing, acting like they're upholding anything. Seeing thou hatest instruction. Esau was created to be the devil. He hates instruction and casteth my words behind thee. Exactly. So he swore in on the Bible and then gave homosexuals rights, lesbians rights. So much poverty going on. He protects the animals more than he protects the people. He poisoned the food, poisoned the air. The scriptures, to the point that the scriptures say that no flesh should be saved. Everybody will be wiped off the face of the earth because of this devil, even themselves, man. So he has to go. This is back to Zechariah chapter 5, verse 3. Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth, right? And this is why this is coming to Independence Day. That's why it's coming to you, your reality, man, because of Esau being the devil and how you rule this world. But it was according to the plan of Yahweh Shema Shai. It says, For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. I will bring it forth, said the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and it shall enter to the house of the thief, and into the house of him that swear falsely by my name. And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof, and the stones thereof. Right, so the chariots, the so-called UFOs, are only coming back for destruction, man, for vengeance, for what was done to the blacks, the Latins, and Native Americans, which are the Israelites, according to the Bible, man. This Isaiah chapter 66, verse 15. It says, For behold, the Lord Yahweh will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebukes with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. Right, so when them so-called UFOs come back, they're going to be shooting them laser beams on people, man. Right along with the nuclear missiles that's going to hit this place also, man. That's the judgment, that's the curse that's coming upon this place, America. So, it'd be best for you to turn to the Lord while you got the chance, man.
We need you to update us on the status of AIMSOG. The legislation creating it was passed in December. The deadline for implementation is fast approaching. But the group does not even have a named director. We need to know, sirs, the status of the organization and the obstacle to getting it up and running. Secondly, you have to convince the audience today, and most especially our military and civilian aviators, the culture has changed. That those who report UAPs will be treated as witnesses, not as kooks. Thirdly, you need to show us, Congress.
I looked up this word kook too, because I don't know what it means. It's good for you brothers to look up these words, no matter how silly they sound, or, this isn't a thing of pride, man. It's about getting the true understanding of what's going on so you can save yourself, because one word can fuck up the whole edification, But this is the word kook. It's spelled K-O-O-K, which is a noun. The noun is a crazy or eccentric person. And the word eccentric is an adjective of a person or their behavior unconventional and slightly strange. As a noun, a person of unconventional and slightly strange views or behavior. Strange, unusual. The word strange is unusual or surprising in a way that is unsettling or hard to understand. So, a kook is basically a person that's considered kind of crazy. The things that they believe in is kind of strange. Like how the dude was on Independence Day when he believed in the UFOs and shit, man. It's basically the same thing.
And the American public, whose imaginations you have captured. You are willing to follow the facts.
Things that are against the norm is what this person believes in. Against what society says is acceptable and normal. That's what a kook is, or an eccentric person.
They lead. We fear sometimes that the DOD is focused more on emphasizing what it can explain, not investigating what it can. I'm looking for you to assure us today that all conclusions are on the table. One final note, we are mindful today that AIMSOG is not starting from scratch. This is the third version of this task force in DOD, and civil society groups like the Mutual UFO Network, Mr. Corbell and others have been collecting data on this issue for years. I hope you'll explain how you can leverage the knowledge and experience of our prior work on this matter to move the AIMSOG along. The last time Congress had a hearing on UAPs was half a century ago. I hope that it does not take 50 more years for Congress to hold another, because transparency is desperately needed. I now turn to Ranking Member Crawford for comments he'd like to make.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable Moultrie and Mr. Bray, thank you for coming here today. We appreciate it. To begin the open dialogue between Congress and the executive branch on this important topic. While this topic evokes creative imaginations of many, aside from all the hype and speculation, there are important underlying issues posed by UAPs. Despite the serious nature of this topic, I have to say I'm more interested in our understanding of Chinese and Russian hypersonic weapon development, or understanding why this administration was so slow to share actionable intelligence with the Ukrainians. However, inasmuch as this topic may help us better understand unknown activities of Russia and China, I am on board. The intelligence community has a serious duty to our taxpayers to prevent potential adversaries such as China and Russia from surprising us with unforeseen new technologies. As overseers of the intelligence community, this committee has an obligation to understand what you are doing to determine whether any UAPs are new technologies or not. And if they are, where are they coming from? In general, the IC spends much of its time and resources trying to understand what we call known unknowns. When it comes to foreign nations' weapons systems and sensors, known unknowns are those features that we don't fully understand yet. The challenge associated with UAP is that they are completely unknown and require a more expansive collection and analysis effort. The intelligence community must balance addressing known threats to our national security with preventing technical surprise. We must continue to follow the facts where they lead us and ensure that there are no technical surprises. The IC must take it seriously when there are credible observations of phenomena that seem to perform in ways that could pose a threat to safe flight operations, or they could be signs of a foreign adversary's attempt to develop a strategic technological surprise against the United States. It's also essential that our pilots and others feel they can report UAPs they observe without any stigma for doing so. This is the open, unclassified portion of our hearing. We'll have a closed, classified part later. It's important for the public to know that the classification of information exists to protect national security, not to try to hide the truth. When we're trying to determine if any UAPs are new technologies being developed by foreign governments, we are inevitably going to run into classified information about what new systems and technologies we do know are in the works here or abroad.
That's a lie. When you listen to these guys, you gotta really pick up the shit that they saying, because you have to get focused. You have to have your mind in the words that you don't understand. You gotta look them up, because you gotta know exactly what they're saying, how they're lying to you, so you can strengthen your mind and won't be deceived when you're watching these videos. That's why the scriptures say, study to show thyself approved, because it starts with the scriptures, and the more and more you keep getting deep with the scriptures, the deeper you become when you're dealing with these people and understanding realizing what they're really saying to you. You know, being able to discern the new speak and, the code words. The Spirit reveals all that to you, but you got to take the necessary steps to understand, man.
But where information does not risk national security, it should be shared with our allies and the public when feasible. I hope that we can have your assurance to this end today. It's my hope that the intelligence community will continue to try to determine the nature of UAPs we've observed, and will keep Congress fully apprised of all developments. I look forward to this hearing and continued dialogue and oversight with the intelligence community on this topic. And with that, I yield back.
Gentleman yields back, and now we'll turn to our distinguished chairman, Adam Schiff, for any comments he wishes to make.
Thank you, Chairman Carson, for holding this open hearing on unidentified aerial phenomenon and for your leadership on this issue. Holding a portion of our discussion today in open session is critical to the cause of transparency and openness, which was Congress's intent in authorizing and funding this new task force. The larger effort that is being undertaken to study and characterize UAP reports is an important step towards understanding these phenomenon, what we know and don't know. And I look forward to hearing more.
All right, Salakia. This is Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 14. It says, when thou art come unto the land which the Lord Yahweh thy God giveth thee, and shall possess it, and shall dwell therein, and shall say, I will set a king over me, like as all the nations that are about me. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord Yahweh thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. Right, man. So that was a straight commandment, man. That's how you know we're still in captivity, because we got people ruling over us that are not supposed to be ruling over us, because they're not of our nation. It's Esau, the white man, the Caucasian, man. And then you got the so-called leaders of our community that ain't saying nothing neither, man, because they sold out. So, but that's why only the elect, it's only meant for the elect to get it, bro. So,
during both the open session and the closed setting, about how DOD and the IC are undertaking that task. UAP reports have been around for decades, and yet we haven't had an orderly way for them to be reported without stigma and to be investigated. That needs to change. UAP reports need to be understood as a national security matter, and that message needs to go out across DOD, the IC, and the whole of the U.S. government. When we spot something we don't understand or can't identify in our airspace, it's the job of those we entrust with our national security to investigate and to report back. That is why it's important that we hold this open hearing for the public to hear directly from the Department of Defense on the steps it's taking to track, analyze, and transparently communicate the work that is being done on this issue. It is also the responsibility of our government and this panel to share as much as we can with the American people, since excessive secrecy only breeds distrust and speculation. I look forward to hearing how the UAP task force is being stood up, what challenges they still face, and how this committee can make sure the task force is able to shed light on one of the world's most enduring mysteries. I thank you gentlemen for your work, and be very interested to hear what you have to say. To me, among the most fascinating questions are these phenomena that we can measure. That is, instruments report there is something there. It is not the human eye confusing objects in the sky. There is something there, measurable by multiple instruments, and yet it seems to move in directions that are inconsistent with what we know of physics or science more broadly. And that to me poses questions of tremendous interest and as well as potential national security significance. So we look forward to hearing what you're able to report to us today in open session. And I want to thank Chairman Carson again for his extraordinary leadership on this issue, and I yield back.
Chairman yields back. Thank you. With that, we will start our hearing. Under Secretary Moultrie, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Chairman Schiff, Committee Chairman Carson, Ranking Member Crawford, distinguished members of the subcommittee, it's a privilege to be here with you today to address your questions regarding unidentified aerial phenomenon, or UAP. I'm pleased to be joined by Mr. Scott Bray, the Deputy Director of Naval Intelligence, who will speak to the Navy's Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force, which laid the foundation for the efforts we will discuss today. First, I'd like to thank Congress for supporting the Department's UAP efforts. The NDAA for fiscal year 2022 has helped us to establish a dedicated office to oversee processes and procedures for the timely collection, processing, analysis, and reporting of UAP-related data. What are UAP? Put simply, UAP are airborne objects that, when encountered, cannot be immediately identified. However, it is the Department's contention that by combining appropriately structured collected data with rigorous scientific analysis, any object that we encounter can likely be isolated, characterized, identified, and if necessary, mitigated. We know that our service members have encountered unidentified aerial phenomena, and because UAPs pose potential flight safety and general security risks, we are committed to a focused effort to determine their origins. Our effort will include the thorough examination of adversarial platforms and potential breakthrough technologies, U.S. government or commercial platforms, allied or partner systems, and other natural phenomena. We also understand that there has been a cultural stigma surrounding UAP. Our goal is to eliminate the stigma by fully incorporating our operators and mission personnel into a standardized data gathering process. We believe that making UAP reporting a mission imperative will be instrumental to the effort's success. The Defense Intelligence and Security Enterprise provides real-time support to our warfighters and mission personnel across all domains. To optimize the Department's UAP work, we are establishing an office within the Office of the Secretary of Defense. That office's function is clear: to facilitate the identification of previously unknown or unidentified airborne objects in a methodical, logical, and standardized manner. These goals will ensure that we are working closely with operational personnel on training and reporting requirements, developing data and intelligence requirements, standardizing and integrating processes and procedures for collection, operational surveillance, analysis, and reporting, leveraging our research and development capabilities to improve detection, characterization, and identification of UAPs, developing...
All right, now this is a good clip to watch, man. You know, scriptures say, for we are nearer to the end than when we believe. This is only what they're showing us, you know. You got to consider what you don't know, what they're not showing us, to consider that you got all these brothers out here that's woken up to the truth, that's got putting up all these different videos and coming up with finding different news sources. So, you know, that's why you got to get on it right now. But With that being said, call Lord Yahweh Shema Rashad, double honors to the elders and apostles that rule well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. Shalom.